Hey everybody, it is 595 week number 2. All right, let's jump right into this, shall we? You do not have a big assignment this week. There is a discussion board post. As a reminder, your initial posts are due Thursday by midnight, 2 responses by Sunday at midnight by 11:59. Be sure you're using an APA citation on it, that you're citing a scholarly source on each one of those. If you don't have that, those are some easy points to lose. It's interesting because, as you might imagine, with your educator hat on, this is you putting your educator hat on. You want people to have a conversation, right? So like this is similar to like replacing a classroom conversation where I would share a thing and we'd have a conversation about it as humans sometimes do. This is that idea, but also like in that scenario, you wouldn't be like, and I read this scholarly article. Here's the link, everyone. I don't know. I guess maybe we could if I gave you time to kind of think about it and research it, and then we talk. It's actually a good idea for facilitating ed tech grad work. But anyway, it's like a weird hybrid. It's primarily to get you good practice and in the habit of using citations to back up your thoughts and reasoning and thinking at a graduate level. It's also just practice getting that APA formatting in. But please, please, please make sure you're using APA formatting and that you're citing at least one source for each discussion board post. So more on your next assignment next week, but that's all that you have. If you're a fan of saying for the deliverables next week, I'm not. I've never said that until now, so I don't know. Let me go through and give you some overviews of what you are going to be doing this week. There is a video, I believe it's about 4 minutes, looking at how education needs to go beyond just academics. And in this case, I agree with that premise. In this case, it looks at character education and instilling good characters. So at our school, at Hillbrook School, we try to connect a lot of our learning to our core values: be kind, be curious, take risks, and be your best. And I think that's a version of that where it's not just like rigor and more homework and advanced work that's not appropriate for your age. So not that, but also like, yeah, just connecting with something like bigger than themselves, I think is a good approach. This particular video looks at the scope that this should be a worldwide thing. Also notes that culture is an important part of character education. And in the US, there's been renewed interest and focus in it because we're finding that character education, or lack of it, particularly in the era of No Child Left Behind, where it's all about like teaching to the test, at least at my school and my last school and last district was very much that case. And it was drop everything else. Like you have to have PE, but we're not getting tested on social studies or science or character education, not getting tested on music, not getting tested on art, and so all those things, depending on leadership, can get pushed away because of the pressure of No Child Left Behind in particular. In this case, it's really just looking at actually, there's a bit of a resurgence because we're seeing the need for that, and we're looking at kind of identifying universal values around character education. So you're going to be sharing some of those thoughts likely in your discussion board post. Discussion board post, I have that right here. It's kind of a generic one. How you integrate character education into your lessons or into your school, what standards you use, how that may or may not fit in, how schools can or might improve character education. If you have a story to tell, great. If you want to respond more generally, great. There's also a bit of reading that's linked on the week 2 page. You have Jason Bear's article from 2017 in the journal, I have my notes here, the Journal of Youth and Adolescence, looking at the multidimensional nature of character and looking for a more comprehensive, or really advocating for a more comprehensive approach to character education. So you're going to read about the 4-dimensional model of character. I'm not going to spoil it, but that's there. It's a pretty lengthy and it's a research article, right? Looking at traditional character education that just looks at like moral values is actually incomplete. Looks at the importance of intellectual values like curiosity. Wait a minute, Did we just talk about my school's core values around being curious? Yes, yes, we did. I'm not speaking, why did I say that plural? Because, like, we're talking. I did. I don't speak in the first person plural. Although I'd like to be cool enough to speak in the third person. Bill thinks that would be pretty cool. Anyone else thinking of Seinfeld, Elaine's boyfriend? Was it Duffy? Dudley? No, not Dudley, for sure not. Let's Google this real quick. Seinfeld, Elaine, boyfriend. What was his name? No, it was not Jerry Seinfeld. Putty. Yeah, Putty. What was that? Who it was? No, it was the guy at the gym that talked about himself in the third person. Jimmy, I think. Jimmy likes Elaine. Jimmy wants to ask Elaine out. And she was like, who's this Jimmy guy? And Jimmy was the guy. Not the point. Anyway, it also looks at the last thing with this Bear article is looking at how different dimensions of character play against each other. And it's really like about a complementary thing, not being these things in isolation. And I think you're going to find some good connections with what we know about good teaching practices, that teaching things in isolation are good in some points, but other times interdisciplinary things not only help you cover more content at once, but tend to be more authentic learning and more real-world application. The second article you have looks at Fink and Geller's Common Core plus Character Education equals awesome. I think that was their working title. Looks at the synergy between academic standards and character development. And like I was just kind of summarizing the Bear article, how when they work in synchronicity, they are just much, much better, more effective, more authentic, all those things. I know Common Core has kind of had its run, like there was for sure like a everything Common Core. This is still absolutely applicable. Again, it's a fairly in-depth research paper you're going to be reading, but looks at the lack of civic readiness. And I just had a weird flash on my screen, but I'm still there. It's still recording. Great. Yeah, just how like students are not jumping into the world after grade 12 and being civic-minded, civically engaged people. And they aim to change that, or propose we do, through character education. They actually advocate, which is an interesting take, looking at moral character and performance character in partnership or alongside academic achievement. And really, like the case they're making is that character education enhances academic outcomes. When kids feel like we're approaching the whole child, they tend to feel seen, they tend to feel like they belong, and they tend to care more and be a part of that community. Yeah, so that's what your readings are going to be. If we look ahead to next week you have a historical timeline around the evolution of character education. So you're going to be creating a timeline using at least 8 significant events on the United States character education. Is that enough to get you started? I think so. You're going to have citations there. You might use Word. The Google Doc suggests Tiki-Taki, which is different from TikTok or Tiki-Tiki. I forget. I don't use that one. The one I was actually recently playing around with was Preceden, Preceden. That one has the free version. You have to sign up to use it. You can just type in a prompt and it'll auto-generate. Don't do for this assignment. Make sure that you're reading the School of Ed policy around artificial intelligence, AI in education and graduate work. You're not allowed to use it to write your papers to create a timeline for you, but the way that it actually automatically creates and sizes, I'm doing like left and right because that's the x-axis, the way it does all of that for you is great. And so once you have your events, you can just paste in like the first 5, you'll get prompted upgrade, and you're just like, no, just exit out, and then you can do like one at a time more. But I think you get 10 for free on Preceden. And the idea of this assignment is to look at kind of the complexities around character education in America, and then looking at different perspectives and influences. So that's all. That's what you got for week number 2, and hope you have a good week.